Hi everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things, and it's the time of year for me to box up the previous year's journals, which, as you can see, I have a lot. When I was out buying this the other night, my husband was with me and he said, "Do you need two?" And I'm like, "Oh no, one will do it." I didn't want to have a bunch of these sitting around, and I didn't have a coupon, so I didn't get it half price this time. I was just really eager to get this little project done, but I probably should have went ahead and bought two because I'm having a feeling that this stack is not necessarily going to fit in here. 2024 was quite a significant year for our family. For me individually, it started out with having a physical setback, I guess you could call it, maybe an illness. It was an inner ear infection that really affected my ability to function as I am used to doing stuff. And so that was the beginning of the year, and it's been a year, and I'm probably just now back to normal. So it was a bit of a thing. And even now, there's some repercussions to that. But overall, I feel like I have my life back. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. That was the beginning of the year. And then in the year, we had numerous occasions going on. So I'll touch on those maybe a little bit here as we're loading this up. I don't typically keep my planners because I don't keep a beautiful planner. My planners are a scratch out stuff kind of place. Scribble it down, scratch it out, switch it to another day. But this year, because so much happened, I think that keeping the planner is a good idea. And this is the Paperage brand. It's pretty inexpensive on Amazon, and because I use all kinds of pens and inks and so forth, I just don't worry about it being a super good quality. But anyway, this year is one definitely worth commemorating. I did a lot of writing in this memory file. I'm putting the flyer from the Sunday at church where it was announced that my son and his friend were getting ready to enter the United States Marine Corps as recruits at that point. And oh my goodness, that Sunday was, oh, so they had them up at the front of the church praying for them, and the parents were invited up, and man, it was hard for me not to just burst into tears. Super proud of my kids, all of them, but that going away thing was not easy for me. Anyway, so in this book, I have filled gratitude journals. My friend Kathy designed this cover, and I ended up using this as a scripture writing journal. And I also had some verses from the Bible, verses of hope, I called them, Drew's Journey. I have another notes from church, and if they don't all fit, this is probably one I could get rid of because I don't go back and look at these, or it's really rare that I do, so I'll set that one aside. But I do love my Cosmo Airlight paper gratitude journals. They were so much fun to decorate and write in, and to look back on things that one can find to be thankful for, even in difficulties, is a good thing to remember. So definitely keeping this B6 Slim journal. Probably have to rearrange all these. Trip from Idaho. This is a short trip, traveler's notebook insert. And it was just right for our little trip that was about a week, a little less than a week, to visit my son and his family. In here I have this lovely Bible study book. It was a gift from my friend Donna. I assembled a little notebook, or used the little notebook to go with the devotional guide. I'm not sure I want to store these away for eternity, so I'm going to use those. But that will go in there. So yeah, let's see. We started out the year with my vestibular neuritis. We have fountain pen shows. This is a journal I decided to do with this craft paper. And this is sort of my everyday journal. In this case, there's the gang. I did a little more of a scrapbooky feel throughout. Had, yeah, I can't think and do this at the same time. So we had 2 weddings this year. We had a high school graduation, a college graduation, an Army basic training graduation, a Marine graduation. My son just finished his technical school training, but the graduation for that isn't until spring, but that's an element to celebrate. With the wedding of my daughter, that also meant not only was she finished college and she got married, and that was also a milestone because it meant that she was no longer coming home here. She has a husband now. That's her new home. And then some of the kids that went away were already living on their own, but still that step of them leaving town or stepping into marriage was memorable, very special, but like a little bittersweet too. So all that kind of stuff is commemorated. We had a trip to Georgia for the Army graduation. We had a trip to California for the Marine graduation. We had the trip to Idaho. What else? We had numerous trips, short trips back and forth across town to the wedding venue, for the wedding, for the setup, for the rehearsal, wedding showers. We sort of had an online baby shower. Okay, within the year too, we had the birth of one granddaughter. I'm trying to remember if my youngest grandson was in 24. He was born in 23. With the high school graduation, we had the Marine endeavor. So again, 2 big events leading to also a change of lifestyle for my husband and I. So we went from having 3 kids stationed at home, 2 full-time, 1 at college, to virtually an empty nest now. We still have 1 son at home. So it was a year of change. It really was. And so all these books really are special to me because of the many things going on. I was feeling a little melancholy, as you can see, with Drew leaving. All of them gave a degree of that bittersweetness, but because he is the youngest, and we expected him to go to college, and then he ends up going into the Marines. A lot of unexpected changes happened, and even though I'm feeling much better now, probably at least 3-4 months of the beginning of the year, I wasn't able to do what I was used to doing. I had a little part-time job that ended up quitting during that time, so I lost, not a big deal, but that was my fun money, my spending money, and so that went away. Interactions with family were minimal during that time, as far as me being able to drive to places, because I couldn't drive for a while. So again, quite the memorable year. I learned so much, though. I mean, this trust right here kind of summarizes it. I learned a lot about having a compassionate heart towards people who are incapacitated for some reason or another. I've always been very healthy, no big deals going on with my health, and then to lose the ability to do what I do in a normal day with energy and focus and get it done kind of mentality, that was different. And now I understand how people might feel who can't do what they're used to doing. And to say goodbye to a way of life, from not an empty nest to essentially one. That's been hard. It's been joyful changes though too. Have you found that to be true? The most wonderful things that are blessings and joyful also can bring a little bit of bittersweetness to them because of the way that life is changing. And then this is the Chunky Monkey. You would think this would be like, a year's worth of journaling. I had a lot to say. It was a year of pouring out my heart in my journals. So much joy and so much change and very much gratitude for all the good things. That's not going to work. Also, though, the struggles of life changing. Life changes, things change, we move on. I was talking to a friend today from church about an event, and she was asking how Drew was doing, and she said, a word to the wise. Essentially what the point was, I can't remember how she stated it, but it was like, as our kids grow up, we need them more than they need us. So it's like, when looking back, you realize you did the same thing to the significant adults in one's own life. Maybe somewhat of it, maybe a love for them, but also a disregard in some senses because you're busy doing your own thing. You're cool. You're grown up. You know it all. You're just exploring life. Life is just unfolding for you. And now I realize, oh my goodness, all of the people that loved me and were there for me that I just didn't recognize fully at the time how much they did care for me. And it's part of youth, I believe. You grow into that understanding, and maybe you have a little bit of it if you're more wise than I was, but a lot of that just comes with looking back. And of course, I don't expect my young adult children to be pining away for home. I'm excited for them and the adventures that they are on, but it's a little bit wistful too, as I realize like they're ready to live their life, and I'm like, don't be gone, don't grow up yet. Be here just a day more. Be young just a day more. So anyway, as you can see, I'm having a little bit of difficulty making this fit. I kind of want to have this all together, but maybe I could store my Bible study book in next year's box. Sorry. This is 2024. I could save this for 2025 because I don't know how I'm going to make this work. Maybe taking it out of the little bag and repurposing that somehow. You probably don't. Yeah, you know what? That's probably what I need to do. That'll work. And if I press this down, I think the lid's going to be up just a little bit from these, but I think it'll work. So anyhow, this is how I'm planning on storing this. I will put a rubber band on it. I am certainly thankful for the last year and lots of beautiful memories. I know it sounds maybe like a downer, but the wedding, 2 weddings were just the most peaceful, wonderful time. Surrounded by friends and family we don't always see, and to have their support there for the marriage of my son and the other one of my daughter. It's one of those serene moments. And the graduations were such a milestone. And when Drew graduated from high school, my husband and I looked at each other, and I think I cried then, because I'm like, oh my gosh, what now? It's like we did it. We did homeschool, and to have done that for that many years, and then all of a sudden it was over. It's like, oh my gosh, it was a very poignant moment. I wanted to show you this pen to wrap this up. It is this 2024 Opus 88 demonstrator. I believe I first saw this on Handmade by Lorelei, her YouTube channel. She was just doing a pen and ink swatching. And I did like the colors of this. It's got some fun mix of greens, the pink writing there. I've talked about this before, and I do like these pens a lot. I love how they write. But when she specified that it was 2024, can you see that on there? It's a little tiny. I thought that is a pen that I really want to have because of all the things that happened in this year. To me, commemorating the year with a pen seemed like a fun thing to do. I, of course, will continue to use it, but I will just remember this year as one of change, one of heartache, one of joy and gratitude and thankfulness for all the good things in my life that are there. Sometimes you have to look for them, but when you do, you see that they are abundant anyway. So this year in this box, this pen, this year, this box kind of all go together, but that will not be stored away. I think this Christmas ribbon that was on a gift is a good way to wrap up this year. And just in a last conclusion, I think of the little saying that the days are long, but the years are short. And boy, when I look back over the years since my first son was born, the leaving home of the last son in 2024, boy, that really does hold true. Where did the time go?